Hello, Hannah the Suburban Witch here, and today I want to talk to you about sleep. I've just posted up a blog post on how to interpret your dreams. I've popped the link down in the bottom of this video, and what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to bring in some really great sleep quality if you have trouble falling asleep, and then also how to block out any bad dreams as well. So let's get started, and of course we're going to jump straight into the crystals. So this one here is, as I'm sure you know, amethyst. Amethyst is the same as white quartz. They are the same crystal. The only difference is this one has some iron deposits in it that give it the purple colour. Now, amethyst like this, a cluster of amethyst would be perfect by your bedside. Think of amethyst like the lavender of the crystal world, and it helps because they are very similar in colour. So, as with lavender, having a beautiful calming lavender tea before bed is going to help calm your mind. So with this, oh God, my cat just scared the hell out of me. Oh, my husband's away and my daughter's asleep, and I thought I heard someone walking, but it's my cat. Anyway, so lavender in a cup of tea or chamomile, something like that before bed is going to calm the mind. It's really good for headaches. Same with the essential oil. So those sorts of properties, you can basically bring them into your amethyst crystal as well. Really good for depression and just bringing a nice, warm, comforting vibe to the bedroom. Another way you can use this, especially if you're in the broom closet still and don't want to be out and proud with your crystals like I am, what you're going to do is get something like this, which is just a little raw amethyst point. Pop it in your pillowcase. No one will know. Another way you can use purple crystals is with this one. This is called lepidolite. This is my absolute favourite, and I actually sleep with this under my pillow every single night without fail. Getting a tumbled stone like this is going to be more sturdy, and also it gives this beautiful rounded, gentle, almost like, think of the shape as being, you know, if you have a point, it's going to be quite, you know, something like this is going to be really targeted and pointed and like determined and strong. Whereas this is gentle and round and rolling. That's how the energy rolls off the different shapes, basically. So this one in your pillow is fantastic. And I actually use these ones a lot with something called, I've actually just named it this, Crystal Castles Meditations. So crystal castles are my version of really getting into your crystal's vibrations and utilizing it to the best effect. So depending on what you're using it for, there's a variety of different things, opening your third eye, that sort of thing. But today I'll just go into falling asleep, because it's something that I have struggled with in the past, being someone that's prone to anxiety. So what I do with this is I either hold it in my hand or I pop it in my pillow and I lie there and I visualize this crystal as being huge and right in front of me, like someone's just plonked it on the landscape. And what happens is I walk up to the crystal, and for me it's always at dusk, and it's always sort of a barren place with maybe some mountains in the background. For you it might be on the beach, it might be somewhere else completely different. For example, I always imagine white quartz as being in the snow, like I'm in a snow space, and then I often imagine something like a rose quartz, again, same quartz as well, but the rose quartz as being in the desert. So let your imagination and your intuition guide you with this. So you walk up to your castle, there's a door. You look at the door. For me, it's usually a dark timber door, and in the grain of the timber is molten lepidolite crystal, sort of filling in those gaps. And then we have the handle, and the door handle is a lepidolite crystal again. And then you knock on the door, it opens. Who is it that opens it? You know, for me, it's like a lovely old man, or it might be someone else inviting you in. I walk in and it's cozy and it feels warm and it smells like butter and it's got this beautiful glow like someone's got a fire on. And I wander down the hall and there's a door on each side, and each door is going to open up into a bedroom. One might be with a really hard bed, one's a really soft bed, one might be a hammock, one might be cushions all over the floor, you know, whatever it is. And you just pick whichever bed you want, you flop down into it, you sink into it, and you can just feel those energetic vibrations coming off that crystal surrounding your entire body. And that's basically you're honing into this crystal, you're linking in with its energy, and you're allowing that to sort of sink in. And usually by the time I've got to that bedroom, I'm already asleep. So it's a fantastic visualization. And if you're particularly wound up, you may have to visualize it all the way getting to bed. And then, okay, it didn't quite work. So you walk out and then do it again. And it's, that's one of those things. It's like counting sheep. So that's really, really, really helpful. Now that's talking about good dreams and falling asleep and having some lovely, beautiful dreams. But what happens when we have nightmares? Well, nightmares that are the standard form, which is chasing dreams, falling dreams, teeth falling out, those sorts of things. I've detailed it in my blog post. Whilst they're not a nice dream and they might be really stressful, they're usually just about day-to-day things, something in your life that you're avoiding, or losing power and losing confidence and those sorts of things, or work stress. So whilst they're a bad dream, I wouldn't call them a nightmare. Nightmares, for me at least, are a little bit darker, and they generally have a spiritual vibe to them, at least in my experience. So things like sleep paralysis, I've experienced a bit. It's terrifying. That's where you wake, and people debate whether you are awake or not. I believe I was awake, and it feels as if you are pinned to the bed and you cannot get up. It's a really, really terrifying, horrible feeling. Some people will see different things. I'm not going to go into it here, but it was absolutely terrifying. So whenever that happens, and I've had a few other instances where I've had things or entities in the room with me, really bad vibes, really bad energies around. When that happens, you're best to bring in some protective measures. So I've detailed this in the cleansing clearing post before, but my go-to in terms of crystals, first things first, some black tourmaline, just a raw piece in each corner of the room is going to be fantastic. That's gridding your room. And then this baby. When I lived in my old house, which was a 100-year-old house, I had a number of experiences in there. I had this next to my bed every single night because I used to have some really horrible, horrible nightmares. And it was almost like going into that subconscious state. And it was just before I sort of had a bit of an awakening spiritually and psychically. I was quite vulnerable. I didn't understand a lot of the grounding principles, the clearing principles, the protective things that you need to do. So I was very, very vulnerable, especially when I was sleeping. So once I clued in a little bit, this was the first thing I purchased. I love it. It is the heaviest, most grounding root chakra base. I love it. It's just this earthy molten lava stone. It's really, really, really strong. And this next to my bed, I feel helps ward off negative things, and it soaks it all in for me as well. But also because it's quite shiny, this is often used as a scrying mirror. It can deflect and mirror it back to whatever is coming at you. That's a really good one. Then also going back into your crown chakra, which is all your purple crystals and your white crystals. Where is my selenite wand? Something like this is really protective as well, and really cleansing of the space. So you can sweep your aura before bed, you can sweep it over the bed to cleanse the area. You can visualize universal white light coming down through this, surrounding your body, surrounding your bed, surrounding your home. Those sorts of things are really good as well to utilize. Love selenite. So basically for good dreams and good sleeping and falling asleep, you want things that are white or clear crystals, and purple and clear. They're your crown chakra ones. Another one you can use is a desert rose. So this is another form of selenite, just mixed in with sand. It's a really interesting crystal actually. So that's another good one that you can utilize. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of help. In terms of herbs, I think I briefly touched on it. Valerian root is my go-to if you really need to fall asleep. It will give you some weird dreams. Some people are really sensitive. My cat goes crazy for it, so I actually have to hide mine in the laundry. It smells a bit funky, but once you brew it up, it's kind of got a slight earthy, minty smell to it, and it doesn't taste bad. It just smells like feet beforehand. Lavender, chamomile, rose petals, all of those can be really calming and nice to have just before bed. Get you in a really good state of mind to fall asleep. So hopefully that helps everyone. Have a look through that blog post and get started on doing some dream interpretations as well. It can be a really insightful way to work with your subconscious, to work with your guides, and to work with your spirit team. It's a really useful practice to get into, and I highly recommend it. I've actually got my little dream journal here. Can't work, busy dreaming. And every time I have a dream that I remember, I pop it in there, write it down as much detail as I can. And I usually just pop it in and then leave it for a few days and then come back and have a look at it, because it usually makes more sense in hindsight, but you can always interpret on the go as well. And sometimes you just wake up and go, oh, I know exactly what that dream was about. So have a go. Any questions, just pop them in the comments for me, and I'll talk to you guys next time. See you later. Bye.